Am I clearly audible to everyone?
Yes, brother.
So today we are going to chant the Murli of 20th December 1992, and the title of the Murli is Only One Who is Obedient has the right to all the powers. So it is a very beautiful Murli and has a very subtle understanding and meaning which is hidden behind it, which can be learned and understood in the right context, in the way Baba conveys it when we churn it. Let's dive deep into this Murli. So here Baba says, Baba, the Almighty Authority, with all the powers, has given all of us an inheritance of powers equally. It is not that some have received more, some have received less. But Baba was, contemplating and understanding, and even it is for us to understand because we see things the way we are, not the things they actually are. So if my spiritual effort, if my purusharth, if my experiment with the powers is less or is limited, then I feel that everybody, walks through this path on the similar lines. But the experience of everyone is different, and that is what Baba focuses on. Baba says that some are able to, order the powers to emerge when there is a situation, given circumstance, and some of the other power out of all the powers that Baba has given us in inheritance. So some are being able to do it while others need time or they are able to do it partially. Baba was contemplating the reason, and even we'll have to understand that why is it happening. That there are some people who walk through this path very effortlessly, who feel all the powers, the glow of the knowledge and the inheritance can be seen from their face, while there are people who feels that this path is very difficult, it practically doesn't work out, or the powers that we want to experience or we should have within ourselves, um, we are not able to experience. There are different categories, and we'll have to figure out and identify which category do we belong to. So Baba was contemplating why is it happening that some order and they get it, and some order the powers, but powers do not become present at that time. So Baba has highlighted two main points. First is having the right. When we are ordering the powers, we should be like we are the children of Almighty Authority. So we all are Master Almighty Authorities. And when we invoke those powers or when we try to use those powers, we'll have to have the belief that those powers already exist in us. The inheritance, for inheritance, it is naturally there. It is not like we'll have to make effort because Baba has um, given us all those powers. So first, we'll have to have the belief that these powers are within me. And if we have doubt within ourselves, doubt whether this knowledge or these powers will actually come or will work or not, then there will be great difficulty in emerging those powers. But when we have the faith and belief, and with that belief we order the powers to emerge, those powers will naturally emerge. And the second thing Baba says is those who take every step according to Baba Shrimad, those who follow orders in a practical way, are the ones who experience every power to be present in front of them. So now we'll have to understand that following Srimad, there are two levels of following Srimad basically. First is the superficial level, and second is the very subtle level. So every line of Murli, every knowledge point that Baba gives us has very, the there is the possibility of exploring it more by understanding the right context in which Baba is conveying the knowledge, and also churning out the plan to become the embodiment of the knowledge. So, in order to follow the Shrimad accurately, it doesn't mean that we'll have to necessarily follow the Dincharya. Dincharya, the routine is very important. We'll have to follow everything, but that is a superficial level of following the Shrimad. But just realize when, if there is a day we miss our Amrit Vela, or if there is a day we miss out the evening Numasha meditation, we many times will feel bad. Many of us will feel bad that today I did not follow the Shrimad. Today I did not wake up. Today I woke up, but I um, was so drowsy. So we feel bad when we do not follow something that is being told. But what if we are not soul conscious throughout the day? What, we do not feel bad. So we follow, we give importance to Shrimat on a very superficial level, but the subtle Shrimat which Baba has told us to be to be in the state of soul consciousness, to churn out the knowledge. And there are many different things. So we feel bad when we are not able to follow Shrimat on a superficial level, but we do not, um, feel bad when we miss being soul conscious or miss being following the subtle levels of Shriman. So we sometimes wonder, it happens even with me, that I am doing every practice, doing Amrit Vela, um, following the food dharnas and everything. But when a situation comes, sometimes um, we are really shaken, and that makes me question that I have been working so much on myself since so many years and trying to do and follow everything. And even after doing that, when practically a situation arise, I underperform. And what is the reason? Because we have been following Shrimat on a gross level. So whenever there is a murli, and these churning sessions are very important because we dive deep and we try to understand the essence of what Baba is saying. What is the meaning of, practical meaning of invoking the powers, of having the right, you know, having the belief that these powers belong to me and they are already within me. So when we churn out, we realize we have a plan of action. We reread, we reaffirm the Murli points and try to practically experiment those points in our life. That is when those points become experience, and that is when we are practically able to experience the Murli, and that is when we are becoming the embodiment of knowledge. That is the time when we'll have those powers within us, that we'll be able to emerge whichever power the time requires. So basically, Baba has focused mainly on two things. Like I said, first is having the right over the powers, and second is following Srimad completely. And I recently read a quote which was a bit funny, that we all are selective sinners. So Baba has told that sometimes what happens is we follow Srimad according to our comfort levels and convenience. So what happens is, if I am comfortable in following a certain Shrimad, or today I'm in a position to follow that Shrimad. So I will follow that point. But if I'm not comfortable, if it is not convenient for me to follow, or a particular Shrimad I am able to follow easily because that is already there in my sanskar. Like, so some people have this, and some souls have this sanskar of waking up early even when they were not in the knowledge. So it is very effortless for them to follow the Shrimad of waking up during the Amrit Vela. So I cannot feel very proud that I've been doing Amrit Vela regularly. That was already my sanskar. That is very convenient Shrimad for me because that was the sanskar. That was already in my sanskar. And sometimes following the other Shrimad, if it is difficult, then I don't follow. And I compare myself with the others on the basis of the Shrimad which I am following. For example, if one of us is not regular in Amrit Vela and I am very regular in Amrit Vela, what I'll do is I'll compare myself with that person on the basis of Amrit Vela, and I'll feel superior. However, that other person might be following all other Shrimad which I might not be following. But I would always think um, at least I am doing better Amrit Vela than him or her. So we don't have to be selective sinners. We have to just obey what Baba is saying. Just follow it. Don't try to, have a lot of logic in why and what Baba is saying and what would be the repercussions of it. So I'll share one of my experiences from the early days of my Gyan. So initially, what used to happen is I used to connect to Baba during night. So I used to get a lot of experiences when I used to connect to Baba during night time. And when I used to wake up for Amrit Vela, I used to feel very drowsy in my head. I used to have headaches. So I used to feel ke, um, it is better for me to do the night meditation than doing the Amrit Vela because I am able to experience more during night meditation. So I used to skip Amrit Vela many times. But um, during one phase, what happened is I woke up for Amrit Vela and Baba gave very beautiful experiences during Amrit Vela. And that is the time I realized that the importance of Amrit Vela, how Baba works on us during that time. So we understand Srimad according to our limited intellect, but Baba has um, a better understanding of things because he is able to see things how they actually are. So when we surrender our intellect and follow what Baba has said, because Baba is saying it, that is when we realize that Srimad is far more logical and has there is a reason for whatever Baba has the directions or the timelines and everything that Baba has guided us or given us. So just we will have to follow we need to follow every point, every Shrimad, um, and then we'll gradually, not immediately, but initially, I feel there is a test of our surrender, our faith, and then there are attainments. So every Shrimad we are able to follow, this is what I personally feel is because of Baba's grace only, because we have a life, we have responsibilities, our office, our sevas, our self spiritual efforts, our purushat, everything we have. It's like having, Sister Dennis says that it's like having three full-time jobs, uh, living Brahmin life, because we have to do the job and only one of that is paid, right? So being able to follow Shrimad has a lot to do with the surrendered intellect. Because when we surrender and follow, Baba's grace is added. And that is uh, something which I've practically experienced in my life recently. So I since lot many years I've been able to follow Amrit Vela very regularly. without missing Amrit Vela even for a day. And I used to, since the time I've been doing it regularly, I am, because of Baba's grace, I was able to have a connection with Baba, a good connection every day. But around in the month of March 26, the IPL season was going on, and I used to, always used to sleep around 10:30. It was always there since my childhood. So because IPL season was there, I always followed cricket and used to love cricket. So what I did is I felt, oh, 10, I sleep around 10:30. Let me sleep around 11 or 11:30 for the days when my team's match is there. So when I followed my Manmat, mixed my Manmat in the Shrimat, what happened in those days, I realized that Baba's grace of Amrit Vela is not there. And what used to happen, I used to wake up, but I used to feel very sleepy and drowsy. And that is the time I realized that when we use our intellect, our Manmat in between Shrimat, um, the Baba's grace to follow that Shrimat, it's removed, it's withdrawn. And that is when I realized, and even I went to Hyderabad for a Seva trip in the month of in the end of January this year. And because we were traveling a lot and Seva was there, we didn't used to get proper rest throughout the day, and we used to get late because we were traveling and we were in, you know, we were going even for sightseeing. But since that was not that was for Seva and not for Manmat, I was uh, surprised to see that every day I used to wake up effortlessly for Amrit Vela and used to have a good connection with Baba. So that is those two, comparisons and contrast gave me the learning that being able to follow Baba Shrimat has a lot to do um, with what following what Baba has given us without, mixing our own thoughts into it. So when we have the intention to follow what Baba is saying, I don't think that there will be any problem in following that thing. Only we are not able to follow anything only because we have our, many people, many souls ask me about they are not being able to do Amrit Vela, but I feel the first lack is in the intention to do it. Is understand is no because we don't understand the attainments, um, what Baba is going to give us if we follow what Baba is saying. So when I have the intention that then Baba's grace is always there. If I have a very firm belief and intention, then 100% Baba's grace is going to be there, and we will be able to follow it 100%. If there is a problem in our intention, then then it will be difficult thing because Baba's grace is not going to be there. So I feel we are being able to follow Shrimat on the basis of our intentions to follow it, right? So this is what Dadis and we see all the seniors do, that they were very, very particular about Shrimat because they knew the importance of being in the, boundaries. Why Baba has set these boundaries? Because this world has become very poisonous and difficult and tough and hazardous, and that is why we need to be within the boundaries to be safe. And when we surrender our intellect, when we do not question what Baba has said and we just follow it on experimental basis, then we see his grace and results of following the Shrimat. And that is why we should never ever compromise with Shrimat. Initially, there will be tests, but once that test is passed, once Baba is sure that this soul has the intention to do it, then his grace will make us follow that following that Shrimat will become effortless. So Baba says that we follow Shrimad according to our understanding and comfort levels, but we'll have to be more particular about Shrimad because that is where the attainments are there, and that is where the safety is there. So Baba says the practical result when when the souls are confronted with a situation, in what form do they come in front of Baba? They come in the form of enlightened bhagats, jnani bhagats. So I was being able to relate to it because many times what happens is our yoke with Baba is about asking him and giving him directions that Baba, do this with this soul, do this with me, complete this office work. So Baba says bhakti means labor and knowledge means love. So when we become jnani bhagats, the mix of both jnani and bhagat, what happens is our spiritual path, it becomes effortful. We do more labor and we have less attainments. So the custom and system of bhakti is that God is remembered only at difficult times, otherwise they remain careless. And that is what Baba says happens with a lot of Jnani Bhagats also. When there's an obstacle, we have special remembrance. So it happens with all of us, I believe, that when there is a particular situation, a difficult time comes, that is when we resort to more yoga, more classes, more knowledge, trying to get help, do everything, remember Baba more, that so that he brings out us out of that particular situation. So that, and when there is no situation or less situations are there, we tend to become careless, right? So Baba says this should not be our approach towards following the Gyan. We have to remember Baba during every action. We have to become karma yogis. So it is very important that you know, like Baba highlighted, that when we sit, we feel good, we feel powerful when we feel connected to Baba. But when we are in our day-to-day routine activities, so we don't feel those powers, or we don't feel powerful enough. So what we have to do is to be a Karam Yogi, not be a Jnani Bhagat, which means doing the labor work. Because uh, till the time we don't form the sanskar of Karam Yogi, we will have to do more efforts in doing everything. Like Dadi used to use Baba's powers to do all the tasks, that all the seva and everything. And what we do is we remember Baba in the morning, we read the Murli, we chant the Murli, but when it comes to our day-to-day life, then we take everything on our own and don't use the um, powers of yoga to get our work done. So one of the senior brothers from our center gave us a very beautiful way of doing the karma yoga, which I absolutely love, and which even Baba um, tells us in the Murlis. He said we'll have to switch the words from karma yoga to yoga karma. So first, before doing any work, first sit in yoga for a few minutes, emerge Baba, be in very high vibration, and then start that work. Then we'll be in elevated vibrations. Recently, there was a Sakar Murli, I think in the last week, in which Baba said that it is, yes, you have work, you have to do your duties, you have to earn your bread and butter, and that many times it involves your intellect being occupied in that work. It requires your intellect to be occupied. So yes, you will not be able to remember Baba during that time, but you'll have to keep on remembering Baba in between, and that is why traffic controls are very important to be a Karam Yogi. That is why uh, having some or the other practice, even when we are working, doing some or the other practice, because I firmly believe this, and I have also observed that many souls do not understand this, that the knowledge has to be in us throughout the day, keeping, Sister Jayanti calls it, keeping the path of truth alive throughout the day. Because in the morning we are making good efforts, in the evening we are making efforts, but throughout the day when we are doing service or when we are doing our job, that is the time when we make, you know, most mistakes, and that is the time when we need to have some of the other practices to be able to become karam yogi. Like for instance, whenever a client comes to my office, and we have a communication and we interact, I try to, have the practice visualizing that uh, person as soul. That person is talking, even I am communicating, but there is a practice which is going inside me. And that is what is more important. Just, you know, following the knowledge on a superficial level, now we'll have to make a shift. So there was a brother at our center, and I was having some gyan chit chat with that brother. And I asked him that what does he do when he make food, prepare food or lunch or dinner, whatever. So he said, I listen to some of the other class. But I asked him, but what is there any practice, specific practice that you do while cooking? So he said, no, I just listen to class. So in order to, what happens is we have this approach of just being in Gyan means listening to classes and classes. It should be more about practices. While I'm working, what practice I'm doing, um, while I'm exercising or doing anything or any work, what practice do I do is more important. Many times we see, this is a very common phrase or quote in our Gyan which says that um, we are in knowledge and knowledge is in us. Yeah? So many times it happens is we are in knowledge for years and years, but knowledge is not within us. And being Karam Yogi means that knowledge should be within us, which means some or the other practice should go on inside. May it be becoming the body of light, may it be any practice that we like. So we'll have to decide it for ourselves, but we'll have to inculcate some or the other practice so that we are not in Gyan till 8 a.m. or 8:30 or 9 a.m. till the Murli time is there. And after that, we are not in Gyan. And then in the evening time, we again come back to Gyan. So it should not be like that. We should have definitely have some or the other pre-decided practices, and we can link those practices with uh, one or the other activities. And that is when we'll be able to remain a Karam Yogi, um, because Baba has asked us a question that are you Karam Yogis or difficult yogis, right? Or sitting yogis. The name of our yoga is Karam Yoga, right? So we'll have to emphasize on increasing our inner practices, and that is what Brahma Baba has done. The Avyak Murli we read is nothing but all the practices that Baba did when he was in Sakar. And that brings us to our first question, which, first point that after the Murli Baba has told us is to follow Father by by being in an elevated stage while doing the ordinary karmas. And that is what Baba did. We have all heard the example that Baba was doing very ordinary karma, and some VIP came to meet him, and uh, he could have beautiful visions of by seeing the Baba. Because when we have remembrance, or we are in elevated thoughts, or we are in good smriti while doing the normal things or anything, people do not just connect with our words or our appearance, they connect with our consciousness, our vibrations, right? And if I am in an elevated stage, I am experiencing something, The consciousness connect will help other soul to experience what I'm experiencing. Just like when we remember Baba, we connect with the consciousness of Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba, and we are able to experience powers and a lot of things we are able to experience when we connect to Baba, because we are connecting to Baba's consciousness, and Baba is ever pure. Suppose Baba, it is not possible, but just for instance, if Baba was into some worry, or Baba is into some negative thought or some self doubt, when we remember him, even we will have those sort of thoughts which Baba is having. Not exactly the thoughts, but we'll be able to feel those vibrations, right? So when we are giving knowledge, or whatever thing we are doing, our consciousness is important. When I'm in high elevated consciousness, if someone remembers me during that time, that soul will naturally feel those high elevated vibrations. And initially, the sakshatkars, the visions were on the basis of chitra, on the basis of pictures. They had the vision of the picture, but Shivani Didi in one of her classes told this point, and I could resonate it with that point. She said, in the end, the sakshatkars and the visions will be on the basis of our charitra, which means our character, which means what elevated stage I am in. On the basis of that, souls will have visions. Like Baba said, um, even when you're sweeping or you're doing routine, ordinary work, and if you will check yourself um, honestly and a bit deeply, you'll realize that when we are within the Brahmin gathering, when we are within a gathering where people see us with affirmation, or see us that they are Brahmin, or they respect us, value us, that is when we tend to feel more confident in elevated stage or elevated remembrance or good smriti. But when we are within a gathering where, of suppose non-BKs who rejects us, or if there is a family member who questions our practices, so we tend to, forget our affirmation, our swaman, and we are into a different state of mind, or beliefs, or self-doubt amidst those people. But ideally, what should happen, irrespective of which company, which atmosphere I am in, I should be in elevated stage, elevated memories, elevated smriti, right? So Baba said he, we should not be in the ordinary state while doing the ordinary work, or while being with the ordinary people, or while being with the people who sees us and feels that we are ordinary. We should always be in the elevated memory and in the affirmation. So this is what Baba has focused on. Second is, Baba said that faith creates a worry-free mind. One strength, one faith makes the intellect peaceful and decisions accurate. So there are two things Baba said. That first is we should have faith, and second is our intellect should be peaceful for decision making. And that is why if I have something to decide, I have to take a decision which is even if it is an important decision of my life or not, it is an ordinary sort of decision of my life. But if I have a clear intellect and I communicate and tell the situation and keep that situation in front of Baba, and be assured, have faith that, yeah, now I've told this to Baba, Baba is certainly going to give me the solution, then 100% will have um, a random thought or a touching, or some random person would walk in and tell us the solution of that situation. So when we have faith in Baba, in myself also, when we have a worry-free mind that yes, Baba is going to help, and my intellect is silent, not contemplating too much, not analyzing too much, what is right, what is wrong, then the answer comes naturally. You know, earlier it used to happen with me. I used to contemplate my decisions more and more, and sometimes it used to happen that I'm not able to figure out at that point in time that what should I do. Suppose I have to travel to my hometown, and I'm confused whether I should travel on Monday or Tuesday. And then I used to contemplate going to Monday means what all tasks I'll need to finish today, what all tasks I'll need to do when I reach there. But what if I go on Tuesday? I try to, um, evaluate, and more evaluation meant more confusion. And that is what happens with all of us. Now I've gradually taken the approach that, yeah, okay, let me think. If I'm not able to decide, then let the time flow, and I'll naturally know what I'll have to do. And this is what happens, that I get clarity. We will not get clarity about everything um, at the present moment itself. Sometimes, uh, we'll just have to wait, be patient, and that thing comes to us naturally. The answer comes to us. So, what we have to do is, when we have a decision, or we want to do something, or there's a confusion of how I should do seva, whether I should do more mansa seva and less physical sevas, or I should do more physical sevas or less mansa seva, or how do I keep balance? Any question we could have, we should just keep it with Baba, and just be assured, just be okay with that uncertainty for a few days. Then answer with some or the other way will pop up. Even if we don't have the capacity to, to catch what Baba is saying, because sometimes we are occupied in work or different things. Some random person would come in and will tell us the solution, which I've practically experienced, and even I've heard the experience of um, few souls who have told me like this. So uh, just don't be decision oriented. Just be okay with, with the confusion. Just give it to Baba and wait, but don't entangle yourself into it. And many times Baba even says that if there are two things and you're not being able to take a decision, just do whatever feels right and leave the result on Baba. But don't contemplate and think so much, because our thoughts are being, utilized and wasted in that. Third, Baba said that happiness is my nourishment, is my spiritual nourishment. So happiness is the food for mind, and that is why Baba talks about what a lot of people talk today, what a lot of psychologists um, and influencers talk today, to be in gratitude. And I could remember one line since I've heard it till today. There was a sister which came to our center, and after the Murli, she shared her experiences. So there was one line she said about yoga, which I absolutely loved. She said, "For me, yoga is about shukrana, is about gratitude." So sometimes just realizing what all, attainments and what all things Baba has given me takes us to a very elevated stage. Yesterday, only after the Murli class, I was coming back to my home with a brother, and I was discussing this thing with him, that we sometimes don't realize how Baba is keeping us protected, what all things personally he's doing for us. We just don't sometimes realize his plan. So when we consciously, you know, create the feeling of gratitude and try to realize what all things Baba has done for us, that really elevate our stage of yoga. That really, makes the yoga effortless. So this should be a predominant, feeling all the time, uh, um, by churning what all Baba has given us. So one of the very profound practices of Dadi Janki, which I absolutely loved when Sister Jayanti shared it, She said whenever Dadi ji had, before going to London, or even in London, she had some uh, illnesses, some physical concerns. But even when she used to be bedridden, she didn't used to think about the body or all the problems that is happening within the body. She used to revisit and realize the memories of Sakar Baba, of being with Sakar Baba. So whenever uh, any soul used to ask Dadi Janki about the experiences with Brahma Baba, he used to narrate those experiences as if it happened today or yesterday. So it was so fresh in her mind. And then Sister Jayanti asked her that how it can happen that something which has happened so many years back, and you can could narrate those experiences as if that you have experienced it yesterday. So Dadiji said, when I am bedridden, when I am, I have to give rest to the body, that is the time I revisit those memories. And that gave me, that gave me a very beautiful realization that we all have beautiful experiences in our Brahmin life. Maybe in today's phase we might not be having. That is why Baba says, na, bachpan ke din bulana dena. Which means what we have to go back to those experiences and revisit and realize those experiences, meeting dadis, meeting seniors, having a very beautiful retreat, or maybe having a very um, funny conversation times, revisiting those memories again and again will always um, keep us in the elevated stage, in a happy stage. And what happens unconsciously is we keep on churning the problem, the situation, the responsibility so much again and again and again. It becomes it becomes our predominant experience. And that is why consciously we'll have to realize what all things Baba has done for us. Suppose we'll have to make chapati today, and we right from the morning we start thinking that I'll have to make chapati, I have to make chapati, I have to make chapati, I have to. So physically, we'll be making chapati one or two times during the day, but mentally, we have made chapatis 100 times. And that is what happens is we repeat our responsibilities, our problems so much, so many times that it becomes our predominant experience, and we feel that yeah, my life is not good. So when we sit and realize why Baba loves me and what all things he has done for me and how I being so protected, just compare yourself, your fortune with the world's fortune. And we'll definitely realize that, by having a contrast, because bad people makes us realize the importance of good people. Bad times makes us realize the importance of good times, right? So by comparing the fortune of people or the sufferings of what all things they are going through, we'll realize that we all are so fortunate and protected by Baba. And that is why Vaha Baba Vaha is a very beautiful feeling, realizing the fortune and realizing all the things which Baba has given me. And that happiness will be the nourishment for the soul. So sometimes, when there is a situation in my life and I churn out and I realize, I feel that what if I churn the knowledge so deeply? What if I churn the Satyug, the that time so deeply, like I churn my problems? It is so important that we remain happy by realizing our fortune. So next, our fourth point, which Baba has discussed, is seeing obstacles as nothing new. The remover of obstacle doesn't become afraid when obstacle comes. Drama is already fixed and has repeated so many times. Therefore, an obstacle is nothing. It is not something new. It is simply a scene in the game, which is going to repeat again and again. And we have crossed so many things so many times. So since the time I came into the knowledge, I had few karmic accounts emerging, and some of those were very tough for me during those times. And recently, when I was reflecting on those experiences of having tough times during knowledge, I realized that this kalpa is 5,000 years, and I have, uh, during the half of it, for 2,500 years, I have been a sinner. And during this life of, confluence age, I have these 5 to 6 scenes and situations which were tough for me. But for if we see a larger picture for 5,000 years and for doing sins for 2,500 years, this 5 6 problems which I had to clear out, because that was the karmic account which was created by me in the past. It is not too much, even though it is too much if we see only the present time. But when we see a larger picture, we realize that we have been doing so many sins and have um, so much negative karmic account we have carried forward through over the years because we were body conscious. So these challenges are good that they are coming and they are going, and I am becoming um, weight free. I'm losing the weight of this karmic debt, and that is why, even though back to back we all have circumstances, but these things are just emerging to get to free us from the debt of karmic baggage, right? So when we see, like one thing really inspired me about mama is, she used to, whenever a situation used to come, she used to feel happy because she used to realize, chalo ye bhi ek karmic account I am being able to clear, right? So we have crossed this situation so many times, and it is okay if obstacle comes. It is nothing new. We'll be able to cross it. Just be patient. Just have faith, and don't look at it as if you're doing it for the first time. And last, Baba says, become ever ready, and everything is yours. Baba says the consciousness of Mera creates burden. And recently we had a very beautiful Murli, I suppose, last to last month, about becoming a Befikar Badshah, in which I still read those points and try to work on those points, because Baba says when the words are interchanged, when Mera is used for which is not Mera, which is Tera, that is when burden comes. And when we realize that everything, the responsibility, the job, the family, the relatives, the seva, everything, it doesn't belong to me. I'm just an instrument, and Baba has given the responsibility. It's just using me. So when we have a surrendered mind, body, and wealth to Baba, there's nothing to be worried about. So just one single realization and contemplating and churning on it, it releases us of so much burden which we are unnecessarily carrying. Which is, and this is not just a concept or a point. This is the practical reality that yes, nothing belongs to me. Everything is, this life is Baba's life, and everything, this the TV screen, the computer, the mobile, the charger, everything, the tiniest of things is just given by Baba. I'm just a trustee, and it belongs to Baba, the family, the relatives, the job, the difficult task I'm handling, the protection and the care that I'm giving to family, the sustenance that I'm giving to the Brahmin family, is not actually I'm doing it. It is just Baba using me because I'm an instrument for doing these things for him. So I just have to be a good instrument. So I just conclude with a very beautiful, profound example. Once Nizar Bhai, who is the, um, who looks after the seva of the foreigner souls. I'm not getting the name. FOP, Future of Power. So when he was doing so many programs in India for FOP, and when he went on stage to meet Avek Babdada, Baba said, "You're doing really good service." So he said, "Baba, I am not doing. You are doing." Baba um, said, "Yes, I am doing, but Baba needs good instrument, and you are a good instrument." So we are good instruments of whatever Baba has, given the responsibility of to all of us, rather than thinking that the responsibility, the office work, the due dates, the family, the bread and butter, everything, I'm not doing this. Baba is using me and getting it done through me. And it removes so much chaos from our lives, so much unnecessary burden that we carry, as if the entire globe is on my shoulder only, right? So shed off unnecessary load or burden which we all have taken, and yeah, be ever ready and shift this consciousness and deeply realize this even while we do meditation, that what is actually mine. And if we uh, deeply understand this, only one thing, that is Baba, which a soul can say is mine. Everything else is really temporary. The sanskars, the possessions, the family, the property, the responsibilities. Only Baba is something that is mine and that is permanent. So this was the beautiful Murli, and I hope that you would have added some perspective, some points, some practical learning out of it, and you'll be able to, um, inculcate this into the in the practice. So if there is any question from today's Murli or whatever is being shared, you can just ask. Otherwise, we could close this session. Thank you. So I think there is no question. So let's just meditate for 2 minutes, and then we can just close the session. Let's experience the Murli points in the meditation commentary. I am a peaceful soul, a very subtle point of light at the center of this forehead. I am a very powerful being, and even though I am in this body, I am very powerfully detached from the body. Within the body, but detached from this body. Baba, the Almighty Authority, has inherited all the powers to me. And I have all the powers within me. I, the soul, I realize the importance of Shrimad. I churn out and understand the essence of what Baba says, and I follow it because that is extremely beneficial for me. I remain in an elevated stage even while doing ordinary day-to-day activities, irrespective of how people see me. I am confident and powerful of myself. I am extremely fortunate, and I realize and will realize it every day. And I am fortunate enough that Baba is with me every moment in this confluence age. And there's nothing more I need from anyone because I have all I need now, all I could claim to be mine. That is my Baba. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Ashish Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. We shall meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Shanti.